This week on Inside the NFL. After the Chiefs seize the day, their coach expresses his gratitude.
When you step across the white stripe, the only thing that matters is that's 6 inches between your backbone and your breastbone. And that's what got it done today. It wasn't X's and O's. It was a purpose.
And in this week's cover story, Jerry Rice delivers bad news to the rest of the NFL. He's not close to retirement.
So many players, once they reach 30, they feel like it's time to walk away from the game. But I feel like I'm starting to peak now, and I'm playing my best football.
Also, this week's Player Diary. Boomer Esiason talks about his frightening commute through the urban jungle.
There basically is one rule for driving in New York. There is no rule. That's the rule.
And now, the show the pros watch, Inside the NFL, with your hosts, Len Dawson, Nick Buoniconti, and Chris Collinsworth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. Chris and Nick, the power in the National Football League changes every week. A good example, Chris, was last week. Remember, we went to Kansas City, and this guy over here said, what are we doing in Kansas City?
Well, yes,
We just got beat by the Bears. Montana's not playing. These guys aren't going anyplace anyway. Well, Montana did play, Nick. And now the Chiefs look like a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
No, you would have to get the last word in, huh?
Well, I had to get your foot out of your mouth to say that thing. But, yes, one man does make a difference.
Hey, in New York, Lenny, that one man happens to be Boomer Esiason. Last year, the Jets were 4-12. This year with Boomer, they look like they are a playoff contender.
Yeah, but you guys are talking about quarterbacks, and we've seen quarterbacks have that kind of impact before, but have you ever seen a defensive back do what Deion Sanders has done in Atlanta? Save the franchise and probably save Jerry Glanville's job.
Hey, everybody's talking in Philadelphia about Randall Cunningham. Forget Randall Cunningham. It's defense. Without Reggie White, Clyde Simmons only has 3 sacks this year. Last year with Reggie, he had 19.
Another team in trouble, Detroit. They don't have Barry Sanders. He is 41% of their offense. Without Barry Sanders, I don't think Detroit makes the playoffs.
Pittsburgh's in the same boat without Barry Foster. Remember just a couple of weeks ago, we named them as the team of the decade after their big win on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. Now without Barry Foster, they just look like a team of decay.
Hey, a team that is not missing its superstar is the Miami Dolphins. Don Shula, with 3 quarterbacks later, looks like he's still the best coach in the NFL.
One thing he really did, he went outside of his organization to get Steve DeBerg to help them continue to win. There's a couple of organizations that are winning that did it within. Houston, Lorenzo White, the running back, went down. Gary Brown came in, doing really a better job. The Giants did the same thing with Lewis Tillman when he replaced Rodney Hampton. Well, last week, Hampton's Giants and Esiason's Jets were winners, but not by much. And in Cincinnati, after an agony of steady defeat, there was at last the thrill of victory.
If someone had said David Shula's winless Bengals would upset the Raiders, you'd probably say they were just blowing smoke. After all, football's version of the Santa Monica Track Club should have run all over the Bengals. But snow is one of speed's great equalizers. It wasn't exactly a winter wonderland for the Bengals either, who still haven't scored 20 points in a game all year. But led by David Klingler's turnover-free performance, Cincinnati's offense started to heat up.
Center again behind Klingler, who takes, hands the ball, goes to the goal line, and goes in. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
Only the second rushing touchdown this year.
Cincinnati embraced the thought of a win, and on this day, the only person wrapped tighter than the fans was Jeff Hostetler. For the second year in a row, the Raiders were shocked in Cincy. The Bengals go for their second win in a row Sunday in San Francisco. Fenway has the green monster, Foxborough the gray. You decide which is more intimidating. All season, the Patriots have waited for the little Dutch boy to show up and plug the hole in their dam. He hasn't arrived yet, and Sunday the floodgates open, literally. wind gusts reaching 68 miles an hour. Staying on your feet was a chore, except for Leonard Russell, who marched through the muck for a career-best 147 yards. Overall, the football was about as inviting as the weather, unless you like lots of defense and no touchdowns. The Pats had a chance for a go-ahead score with just over a minute to play.
And so back to throw. Fires over the middle. It is caught there by Gibson. Fumble! The Jets recover at the Patriots' 6-yard line. I don't believe it.
Can you believe the Jets go for their 6th straight win against the Colts this week in the Meadowlands? A place that wasn't too kind to the Cardinals.
Big Blue, shake the place of football, baby!
Oh, I love it. Fans. Fans. Love it.
Y'all little boy talk all this quiet in the middle.
Oh, I can't wait to see him after here.
Giant fans weren't the only ones talking Sunday.
We got the best D. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened today. It's the best D right here. We're going to give them what they want. We're going to give them upset today, baby. We're going to give them upset today. All day long. All day. We know how to finish. We know how to finish.
Yeah, baby. 4 quarters of punishment.
They ain't going to run it.
4 quarters of punishment.
I ain't going to let them throw it.
You can't block me without holding me. I'm letting you know now.
You might expect a team with 3 wins to concentrate less on their mouths and more on their moves.
Look for it. Good job, bro.
But who knows, maybe the Cardinals should talk more. It seemed to work.
Cannot block us. Hey, baby, keep busting them. Keep busting them. They cannot block us, man.
Okay, listen. All right, don't back away when you're coming to the left.
I thought he was going down.
Don't back away. Take it all, okay? Really, take all the ball. All right, he's a power guy. Yeah, take all the ball.
He was going down, so I
take all the ball. Take all the ball, okay? We got to crank this running game up now.
The Giants never did get their #1 ranked running game going, as they were held to a season-low 46 yards rushing and were forced to watch Phoenix find the end zone first.
Gotta get this in. A field goal won't do. So let somebody else be the floor man.
Goes in motion to the right side. The snap. Hand the ball off. No, it's a play action. Fake. Burline throws in the end zone for the touchdown to Butch Roll.
The Cardinals have done everything right tonight.
But they still only led by 4 as the second half began.
They're going to play pass. They're going to run up the field. All right? We'll get the running game going. If they want to play 8 men, we'll throw the son of a over the head.
2nd and 10 on the 20. Sims looking right. Now looks middle. Throws middle end zone. Touchdown. Credit Sims and an offensive line.
Pass protection's good.
Oh, excellent.
Bill Sims gave the Giants their first lead at 13-10. Now it was time for the defense to protect it.
LT losing it, bro. He done lost a couple. Yeah, he done lost a couple.
They still better stay away from him, though.
They better not go his way. Tell you what.
Burline back to throw. Throws it short. The catch is made by Pearl at the 10 to the 5. He scores!
Come on, baby. We got another quarter. It ain't over yet. Don't relax.
A David Treadwell field goal cut the Cards' lead to 1, and on 3rd and 18, Sims found Mark Jackson to help set up New York's long-distance kicker, Brad Daloiso, for the win.
Odds are not with Daloiso. Good snap, spot. It's got the distance,
Incredible, and he made it with about 6 or 7 yards to spare. He drilled that football. Oh, in my heart, this much longer.
Oh, man. Look back, though, at the decision to keep 2 field goal kickers.
This week, the Giants and their 2-place kickers aim to put their best feet forward against the Dolphins. Coming up, Joe Montana's successful return. And our cover story, Jerry Rice, proving once again he's simply the best.
It was Daloiso who won the game for the Giants, but it was their veteran quarterback, Phil Simms, who put the team in position to beat the Cardinals. He completed 4 passes in that final drive and overall threw for season high 377 yards. Right now, Phil is with Chris Collinsworth.
Well, Phil, the good news is that you're not the oldest starter in this game against the Miami Dolphins. And as a matter of fact, the nearly 40 quarterback club is playing pretty well this year. You and DeBerg and Warren Moon and Joe Montana, you guys come across some good Geritol. What's happening?
Well, I don't know what's happened. I think the fact is all of us, we all know we're old and our time is running out, and we're trying to make this last stand as good as we can. And I'm just happy to be part of that group, and it really is working out for all of us right now.
Well, how are you feeling personally? I understand that last week you couldn't even lift your passing arm over your head after the game, and that your ear was hurting you so badly that your wife had to give you a pep talk just to get you out of the house for the game. Are you okay now?
Well, I am fine. You know, physically I've felt good all year. My arm really has never been a problem. I did bang it up a little one week, but it was not a problem where it was going to bother me in the game. And my inner ear, it's getting better, and my wife always gives me pep talks, so this week was no different than the rest of them.
Let me ask you about football now. I know the Giants are the #1 running team in the National Football League, but does the 2-to-1 ratio of runs to passes on first down make this offense too predictable?
Well, the only time I would say it's predictable is if we don't run the ball well on first down. And then, of course, that puts us in it puts our offense in a difficult situation. But we've been running the ball awful well all year. I have not complained. Nobody on this team has complained about the number of times we've rushed the ball. And as long as we're successful, it puts us in opportunities where I can throw it to score, or we can run it in to score, and a chance to win. I think that's all we're looking to do, and so far it's worked great for us.
Well, last week, because the Cardinals played that 8-man front against you guys, you were forced to throw it 41 times. Now, what happens if Lewis Oliver walks up to the line on first down this week? Do you feel that Mark Jackson has the speed to loosen up that Dolphins secondary?
Well, Mark Jackson does have the speed. I have found out over the course of the last couple of weeks that this guy, I mean, he really can run. If he decides just to take off, I have to get rid of the ball quick to get it out there to him. But we definitely have the speed with the receivers to challenge defenses. And to answer your question about the 8-man front, we've seen the 8-man front just about every week this season. So if he runs up in there, it will be nothing that we haven't seen every week already. So we're well adjusted to the 8-man front, and we'll be ready for it too.
All right, just a personal question now. How surprised are you that the Giants are tied for the best record in the NFC after that 6-10 disaster from last year?
Well, if you'd asked me this early when the preseason, when it was over, I'd tell you I would have been very surprised. But once the season started, I saw how the league was unfolding. Some of the teams I thought were going to be good have not turned out to be as good as I thought. And we've played a little better than I thought we could, you know, judging from preseason. But as the year's gone along, my expectations have, of course, risen. And, you know, I'm happy about it. But if you'd asked me that after 3 games, I thought we would be an 8-3 team.
Well, Phil, you've had a good year. Congratulations on the season to date, and best of luck the rest of the way.
All right. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Lenny, Nick, back to you.
Chris, thank you very much. Chris asked Phil Simms a question. He said, are you surprised that you have the best record in the NFC and you're in first place? I'm asking you the same question. Are you surprised you're there?
Yes, I am surprised, Lenny, but I didn't know that Washington and Philadelphia were going to be that bad. But, you know, I look at last year's personnel, and I don't think it was the personnel that was the problem. It's the fact that they had a coach who couldn't coach. When they got Dan Reeves this year, he brought stability, discipline, and a plan that he has stuck to, and because of that, the Giants are winning. He's doing such a good job. I think he should be voted Coach of the Year if they continue the way they are. Another reason they're doing so well is Phil Simms is healthy. If he gets hurt, it's going to be Kent Graham, and they can't expect to make the playoffs with him. Well, up next for Simms and his Giants, the Dolphins, who trimmed the Cowboys on Thanksgiving thanks to an early Christmas present. And in Kansas City, with Joe Montana assuming the helm again, the Chiefs bowled over the Bills in super fashion.
Joe's back. So are we. It's a different day, different game, different circumstances. This should be a war today.
Great matchup. 2 good teams, 2 good defense, 2 good quarterbacks. Don't have you no more. Big day for us, man. We're going to finish this thing. Finish it. We ain't going back to Buffalo for the playoffs, baby. No.
Even though their knight in shining armor was back, the real Dragon Slayers played on a defense that was well armed to stop Bills quarterback Jim Kelly dead in his tracks. defense created 4 turnovers, which set up the returning hero quite nicely. Joe Montana's precision passes are his trademark, as are the rollouts that bought time and brought big gains against the Bills' defense.
It is 3rd down and 9. Montana dropping back in the pocket, looking. He swings it out. It's Marcus Allen at the 10, down to the 5, and he dives in there for the touchdown. Marcus Allen on a great play.
From around the NFL, the top 4 scorers actually in each age group will advance to the national finals to be held during the Pro Bowl. Here are your Kansas City Chiefs winners.
We're going to step up to the mic.
Age group from Cahokia, Missouri.
Step up to the mic.
Back deep in the pocket to throw. Kelly winds up. He's hit. The ball charged free. It's intercepted by Selby going to 30. Down the sideline, 25. Gets a block at the 20. Down the sideline he goes. He's out of bounds. Oh, baby, what a play. Montana the snap. Fades away from the pocket. Throws a pass. Wide open on the goal line. Touchdown, Kansas City.
The convincing victory was another stepping stone to the playoffs and kept the Chiefs atop the AFC West.
The one thing that it proves, the one thing that makes this such a great game, you can talk all you want, but when you step across the white stripe, the only thing that matters is that 6 inches between your backbone and your breastbone. And that's what got it done today. It wasn't X's and O's. It was a purpose.
John Elway's purpose last Sunday was to lead Denver to its first victory in the Kingdom since 1989, and his strategy started off with a bomb.
Here comes the blitz. He steps away from it and lets the pass go long. He's going for a touchdown.
You're kidding me.
Shannon Sharp makes it.
Seattle's defense, however, was not ready to give Elway all the game's highlights.
He's got the snap. He's in the end zone. Here's the sack. It's going to be a safety.
The Seahawks offense followed up in the 4th quarter and brought Seattle to within 1.
Comes in motion, and Myra is going to fade straight back. He steps up. There's the pass. Touchdown.
Close was all they would come, though, as Rod Bernstein put the game away.
Trying to get him outside. He's going to run to the end zone for a touchdown. Rod Bernstein.
The Broncos remain a game behind Kansas City in the AFC West as they head to San Diego to meet the Chargers. Monday night, San Diego took on the Colts in Indianapolis, and lightning struck in the Hoosier Dome for 31 unanswered points.
Ball is in at the Indianapolis 39. Deep drop. Humphreys to throw. Looking long. Throw it deep to Shea. He caught it. Touchdown, San Diego. The 8-yard line of Indianapolis. Humphreys, deep drop. The blitz comes. Throws to the end zone. Caught! Nate Lewis.
The Colts hope to rebound from the shutout this week against the Jets. Looking to keep their winning streak going, the Dolphins entered snowy and slippery Texas Stadium Thanksgiving Day. But despite being out of their element, at least one frozen fish found his footing.
And he will hand the ball off to Byers, the fullback, and he broke free into the secondary, and he's going to be gone. He's got the midfield line. Byers has the 30. Byers, the left sideline to the 20. Byers is pulled out of bounds at the 1. No, it's in the touchdown. Kevin Smith riding his back, and Byers knocks down the pylon after a 77-yard run, lies down in the end zone, and makes a snow angel.
Keith Byers was the only Dolphin enjoying the conditions, however, as Miami made little progress the rest of the first half. Snow and ice don't usually lend themselves to fleet feet, but for the second time in this game, crossing the field was made to look easy.
And Williams takes it at the 35 and comes left 40. 45, midfield, 45-40, and defender slips. Kevin Williams will bring it in. Kevin Williams from Dallas scores his second touchdown of the day. 64.
Williams' touchdown warmed up the crowd, and when Miami had a last-second chance to win the game, Dallas turned up the heat even higher. But in the process, one Cowboy lost his cool.
It's a 41-yarder. It's a first down kick. And it's blocked! It's blocked and rolling around at the 10-yard line. Jimmy Jones got the block and no one. Yes! Oh, Leon Lett!
Leon Lett! Oh, my goodness gracious. I think they get another shot.
This is Miami's ball.
Miami did get the ball since a Cowboy touched it before the Dolphins recovered. So instead of time running out, Pete Stoyanovich got another chance.
The snap is back. The kick is up. Miami wins.
Miami hopes to beat its fourth NFC East opponent this season, the Giants, this week.
Let's look at the good side of that Leon Lett blunder. First of all the other teams in the National Football League now know what the rules are when you block a field goal. Secondly, he single-handedly put the Dolphins and Giants all alone in first place in their respective division. He's going to have to live with that the rest of his life. Hey, Giants travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. How do you see this game?
Well, the Giants' offense is really hurting, Lenny. When they lost Mike Sherrard, their deep threat, it really has limited their passing game. So the burden falls on the offensive line of the Giants. They are getting Jumbo Elliott back this week, so they have to go back to that smash-mouth type of football. They are bigger and stronger than the defensive line of the Dolphins, and they have to open up the holes for Rodney Hampton if they're going to win.
Well, defensively, the Giants have allowed the fewest points in the National Football League, and that's due in large part to their two inside linebackers, both of whom were free agents before this year. When Michael Brooks and Carlton Bailey flip-flop positions, Bailey really became a force at that weak side linebacker position. And in the secondary, Mark Collins has proven that he's the Deion Sanders of the New York Giants. He will take the Dolphins' best receiver this week and cover him all day.
The key players in this game, the quarterback, Steve DeBerg and Phil Simms, neither can move all that well, so it's going to be up to the offensive line to protect him. On paper, the Dolphins have done a better job. They've given up 15 quarterback sacks. That's second best in the league. You sound to me like you're leaning toward the Giants.
No. You know that, I'll tell you why. The four-headed quarterback monster that they now have with the Miami Dolphins already has better numbers this year than what Dan Marino had by himself all of last season. I think Steve DeBerg has done an unbelievable job coming in on short notice. I think he's going to be the difference. I like the Dolphins.
I like Miami, and I'm going to tell you why. A couple of reasons. One is I take a look at who they competed against. The Dolphins are 9-2. The two defeats, the Jets gave that to them. But they defeated the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Cowboys. When I look at the Giants, the only team that they've defeated with a winning record is the Chicago Bears. They're 6-5, and they did that on opening day.
You know, Lenny, this game is being built as a defensive struggle, but I think the Giants begin to hurt when the team that they're playing spreads the ball around. Now, the Dolphins have Keith Byers and Keith Jackson, and they will get the ball to these guys, and Corey Miller and Myron Guyton have to cover them. I think this is the Giants' Achilles heel, and this will rupture and give the Dolphins the win.
Dolphins' last three victories by the margin of 2, 4, and 5 points, so this should be another close horse race. Both the Dolphins and Giants moved smartly out of the gates, but as we enter the stretch, the Falcons and Oilers are showing impressive late speed.
After the Falcons lost their first 5 games, their symbol for excitement joined the team, and Atlanta has been soaring high ever since. Bobby Hebert and Andre Rison helped build an early lead. But in the second half, the Browns bounced back as Todd Philcox directed 2 scoring drives. Mark Carrier's 35-yard catch got Cleveland close, but in the end, Hebert's second touchdown proved to be the winning score. The Falcons, victors in 5 of their last 6, hope to continue their winning ways this week in Houston.
There's no mystery why people are so enthralled with sports. You know why? It mirrors the drama of life. It's so exciting. You gotta love this stuff.
It's said in life there are 2 kinds of people. Some that are content and some that are hungry.
We ain't got nothing to say. Ain't nothing to talk about, baby. It's after Thanksgiving. I didn't even eat Thanksgiving today because I know I'm getting some food today. I'm eating me a Stiller. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, the key has always been, guys, we know we're focused. We know what we got to do. The big thing, we got to stay together. No matter what, you know, we all got to stay together. We all got to be on the same page. So on 3, we can work together. 1, 2, 3, together.
The only thing the Oilers have been together on at the start of the season was finger pointing. But recently, they had joined as one, winning 5 in a row and forcing a first-place showdown with the Steelers. In their most dominating defensive performance of the season, the Oilers recorded 6 sacks and forced 4 turnovers. Perhaps the happiest person on the field was Houston's head coach Jack Pardee. He witnessed a game plan that was executed to perfection. Gary Brown's touchdown gave the Oilers a 10-3 second quarter lead. And in the second half, a nearly flawless Warren Moon made sure every pass was precise. After leading the AFC in receptions the last 3 seasons, Haywood Jeffries has had fewer passes thrown his way in 1993. But in the third quarter, Jeffries delivered the knockout blow.
Oilers 10, Steelers 3. Moon to throw for the shotgun. Deep down the middle for Jeffries. He's got it to 30, and the 20, and the 10. He is going to score. Haywood Jeffries. Moon from Jeffries for 66 yards and a score.
I like it. Give me some of that. That's it, baby. Back on track. Back on track.
With 6 consecutive victories, the Oilers are alone atop the AFC Central and are home again this week against Atlanta.
What a turnaround by the Houston Oilers. After a 1-4 start, they very easily could have gone into the tank, but the defense got things going. In the first 5 ball games, they were giving up almost 23 points a game. That included the shutout against the Kansas City Chiefs. The last 6, they got their act together, giving up an average of 11 points a game. This should be a very emotional game, particularly for Atlanta coach Jerry Glanville, because he used to roam the Oilers sidelines.
Yeah, and Glanville knows that when you play against the run and shoot of the Houston Oilers, you have to play at least 6 defensive backs, and that's all fine and good as long as Warren Moon's throwing the football. But what happens when Gary Brown with those Earl Campbell thighs start running over your defensive backs? Then you got to bring in a linebacker, try and stop the run, and Warren Moon ends up having a big day. The power running of Gary Brown has really made a difference for this Oilers offense.
Hey, this week the Atlanta defense finds out, are we for real? We know what they're going to do. They're going to put Deion Sanders on the Oilers' top receiver. That is Haywood Jeffries. They're going to try to take Jeffries out of the game early. This puts the burden on the defensive backs of Atlanta. Can they cover Ernest Givens and Webster Slaughter, the slot backs in that Oiler offense? Pittsburgh was not able to do it, and I'm not sure Atlanta can either.
I was just talking about the turnaround by Houston's defense. The same can be said for Atlanta's defense since they got Deion Sanders back. In the first 5 games, the defense was giving up over 30 points per ball game. In the last 6 with Deion, they've cut that in about half. Hey, Nick, this week, some receivers are going to be out there. The top 3 receivers for Houston and for Atlanta have combined catches of 325.
Yes, it's one track team against another track team, but you know something, Lenny? You still have to get the football to these fast receivers. And the way Sean Jones and William Fuller are playing for the Oilers, Bobby Hebert will be throwing off his back foot or off his back all day long. I like the Oilers.
You know, he is the key, Bobby Hebert. Last week against Cleveland, Atlanta jumped off to a big lead, but they had to pull in the reins in the second half because of Hebert's sore elbow. Now, Warren Moon is healthy. And let's see, Gary Brown has those thighs of Earl Campbell, about 36 inches. Indeed, I like Houston.
Well, I do too. Anytime that you have the great 4 wide receivers that the Houston Oilers have with that run and shoot, one defensive back cannot make that much of a difference, even if it is Deion Sanders. I like the Oilers too.
This will not be a conservative game. The football will be flying toward those wide receivers all day long. You know, last week, the king of all wide receivers, Jerry Rice, was in a Hall of Fame form as the 49ers rolled again. And in a trip north, the sagging Saints squeaked by the Vikings.
You don't see many of these classically sleek Viking mobiles on the road anymore, but this year's model Minnesota team, like the old car, is built to withstand the most ferocious of fender benders. Although Sean Salisbury took a beating from the Saints, his third-period touchdown pass provided the Vikes with a 14-7 lead.
Salisbury rolls right, throws, it's caught inside the 5. Jordan surging to the goal line. He's in for the touchdown.
But on the ensuing kickoff, rookie return man Tyrone Hughes got New Orleans revved up, and the Saints ultimately relegated Minnesota to the scrappies.
Kickoff comes down to Tyrone Hughes from his 1. Straight upfield, 15, breaking out to the right, 15, turns the corner, 25, 30, he's to the 40, making a move over base, he may go all the way, touchdown!
seemed to break down in kick coverage, and they broke down like an old Buick that time.
Cleveland is next up for the Saints as they try to stay within striking distance of the 49ers, whose game with the Rams became mere child's play. LA's defensive backs learned the hard way that when it comes to covering Jerry Rice, you can't send a boy to do a man's job.
Watches it down the right side. Rice is there. Oh, my! A one-handed catch! One of his greatest catches!
But the great wide receiver didn't single-handedly beat the Rams. Rice's pair of scores were matched by Ricky Waters, number 32. Steve Young produced a career-best 469 aerial yards and 4 touchdown passes, including a 76-yarder to John Taylor.
Time over the middle, and it is caught. John Taylor bouncing off and gets loose at the 50. Down to the 40. Only Stewart can catch him. Down to the 20, the 15, to 10. Stays in bounds, apparently.
Surging San Francisco boasts the NFC's best record, and with the Bengals coming to Candlestick, the 49ers' blazing young guns are certain to prove once again that they comprise the deadliest arsenal in the NFL.
Jerry Rice, who had 8 catches for 166 yards against the Rams, has already secured his place in NFL history. The all-time leader in touchdown receptions, he's got 122. With 5 more, he'll break Jim Brown's record for most touchdowns, period. More on Mr. Unstoppable in this week's cover story.
Look at this. Jerry Rice knows tennis. Oh, yes, yes. Woo. Jerry Rice knows basketball, too. Jerry knows talking to the animals. Speak. 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 Jerry knows Easy Rider. Well, this is one thing Jerry Rice definitely knows. Touchdowns. He's caught more TD passes than anyone in the history of the NFL, and he has no intention of slowing down.
Well, so many players, once they reach 30, they feel like it's time to walk away from the game. But I feel like I'm starting to peak now, and I'm playing my best football.
Like the Golden Gate Bridge and cable cars, the sight of Jerry Rice in the end zone has become an original San Francisco treat. Now, there's hardly a soul that doesn't realize this guy is the greatest receiver to play the game. But lately, Rice has noticed it's gotten a little crowded at the top. And that's caused him to raise his already wondrous game to an even higher level.
I'm always being compared to Michael Irvin, Sterling Sharp, Andre Rison. You know, these are really great receivers, and I think they really they make me elevate my game more because I know that I'm being compared with those guys.
The threat from the new breed, plus suddenly becoming lost in the offense, may have caused Rice to complain earlier this season about being left out of the offensive flow. But since that outburst, he's on fire. 10 touchdown catches in his last 5 games.
I'm not a selfish football player. You know, I'm a team player. And I think, you know, somehow I got this bad boy image. You know, people say, well, Jerry Rice, he's a very selfish football player, you know, because he wants the football, and that's not me.
Misunderstood might be a better label. Since Joe Montana left, Rice and Steve Young struggled to connect. The chemistry's there now, but it wasn't easy.
The different rotation on the football, it's really hard. You know, he's a lefty, and when that ball comes in there, it has that different spin on it, and you have to watch the ball all the way in.
From the rural back roads of Crawford, Mississippi to the opulence of Northern California, much has changed for this son of a bricklayer and his wife, Jackie. It's a splendid life of privilege they've worked hard to attain. But it's also a life they hope they can teach their 2 children never to take for granted.
The only thing I can do is just to talk to them, to let them know how I grew up, not let them have everything they want, but just keep it at a point where they they feel good about themselves.
Feeling good about himself is something that Jerry Rice struggles with every day on the football field as he attempts to take care of some unfinished business. Is it important for you to leave this game being considered the greatest of all time?
It's very important. That's really what I'm working towards. And, you know, it's going to take a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work. Michael Jordan, he went out on top. You know, he was the best basketball player to ever play the game. So, you know, one day I might be, I might be compared to Michael Jordan or, the greatest receiver to ever play the game.
Jerry Rice, he's arguably the best of all time, but Rice is also fortunate to have played in a system where he could express his talents. And as we check the newswire, a talented shoe executive is a hero in Jacksonville, now the 30th city with an NFL team. Wayne Weaver, head of the ownership group, apparently impressed the NFL with his background and his handling of the Jacksonville bid. With Weaver leading the dark horse candidate to victory, the city's winning bid was startling news most everywhere, including Jacksonville. The city immediately celebrated the birth of what is now its only pro team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Other factors also impressed the league: the city's past support of WFL and USFL franchises and the economic growth of the region. And just in time for Christmas, factories down in Jacksonville were ready to provide every man, woman, and child a Jaguar t-shirt. The NFL is now expecting another boom in merchandise sales. It was only last month that the league selected Charlotte as an expansion site and already expected that the sales of the Carolina Panther apparel will reach $50 million this year. For more news and views, here's Chris with Gary Myers.
All right, Lenny, thank you very much. Gary, I have to say congratulations. You said it would be Jacksonville, and indeed it was Jacksonville. Now, there was some idiot a while back that said St. Louis was a mortal lock. I don't know who it was. What happened to the St. Louis group? They were supposed to get a team.
Well, Chris, I think a few things worked against St. Louis here. One, there was a feeling around the league that there was a lot of apathy in St. Louis about bringing back an NFL franchise. There was a lot of confusion among the ownership group the last couple of months, and there was a lot of confusion about the lease to the Dome Stadium in St. Louis. At the same time, I think Jacksonville really benefited from the overwhelming reaction in the Carolinas after Charlotte got a franchise. The league really believed the Southeast was a growing hot market of the country. Jacksonville is a football-only area, the only game in town, and I think all those factors combined and gave the team to Jacksonville.
All right, well, now we have three very frustrated expansion hopefuls. Are we going to see existing NFL franchises begin to move?
Yeah, I think we could be entering the era of free agent franchises, and the one that comes to mind are the Patriots going to move to St. Louis. James Orthwein, the Patriots owner, has an agreement with the league that he would not move the team without approval from the league. And I think his first priority really is to try to sell the team and keep it in the Boston area.
All right, they won't start play until 1995, the expansion teams, but I know they have to be looking for head coaches.
Yeah, and the name of Joe Gibbs has come up already down the Carolinas. He's from that area. His NASCAR racing team is based in Charlotte. And Mike McCormick, the Panthers general manager, has already contacted the Redskins to inquire about Gibbs' contract situation. He had 2 years to go on his contract when he left the Redskins, and now the question is, will the Redskins let him go? Do they want compensation in the form of draft choices to let him go? Do they have any right to demand draft choice compensation? And maybe even the bigger question, Chris, is whether Joe Gibbs wants to coach again at all.
I think the biggest question of all was what happened with the whole Leon Lett situation. What a disaster for that young man. What was the fallout?
Well, the fallout really was that Jimmy Johnson was concerned enough about Leon Lett after seeing him cry in the locker room after that game that Friday he called him at home in Dallas and said, listen, don't worry about being cut. You're one of my guys. As long as I'm the coach of this team and you're healthy and you have a contract, you will be a Dallas Cowboy.
Was that some kind of a double standard for Jimmy Johnson, though? Because I remember Kirvin Richards a couple of years ago, or last year, fumbled twice in a meaningless game and got cut, but not so for Leon Lett.
Yeah, Johnson says he doesn't have a double standard. He has a 53-man standard that he treats every player differently depending on who they are. If it was a lesser player than Leon Lett who made that mistake, he might have cut him.
It's the way it works in the National Football League.
It's cold business.
I'm glad I can't get cut from the pick segment. Catch you later there. Lenny, back to you.
Thanks, gentlemen. Last week, the NFC Central became a more exciting place. The Packers resumed their climb, and the Bears pounded the Lions in Detroit.
He has had the most dependable wheels in the Motor City, missing only 2 games in his 5-year career. But on a Thanksgiving Day Lions fans would like to soon forget, Barry Sanders became the latest in a long list of NFL stars to fall to earth this season with an injury. Sanders will be sidelined at least 3 weeks with a knee injury suffered in the third quarter. And with Sanders out of action, the best run of the day was turned in by Bears punter Chris Gardocki.
Picks it up, takes it into the end zone, kicks it away, and it bounds across the 30-yard line.
That might have been one of the smartest plays I've ever seen a punter make in my life.
Gardocki helped the Bears avert disaster, and Richard Dent in the Chicago pass rush harassed Rodney Peete with 5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. With Sanders out of the Lions lineup, the Bears needed just 1 touchdown to secure the win.
Harbaugh takes the snap from Fondo, back to throw. Harbaugh steps up. Rainbows down the middle. Over the outside. Touchdown! All right. Terry Obie beat Ray Crockett on the post. 42 yards for the first touchdown of the game.
The Bears now have feasted on 3 straight opponents on the road, and this week they look to sink their teeth into the Packers in Chicago. Last Sunday, Green Bay hosted the Bucs, who have never won a game when the temperature dips below 40. So Tampa seemed to have as much chance of winning at chilly Lambeau Field as Rudy had of playing at Notre Dame. But we all know how that story turns out, and sure enough, the long-shot Bucs seemed ready to snap their cold spell, taking a 10-6 fourth quarter lead before Brett Favre ruined their storybook ending.
Favre, straight back in the pocket, rolls to the right. Now he throws in the end zone. Sharp, touchdown to Sterling Sharp at the end of the baseline, and he catches it in the end zone, and the Packers have the lead with 1:16 to go.
While the Packers hope to continue their inspirational comeback story in Chicago, the Bucs will meet a Redskins team this Sunday that has worn a look of bewilderment all season long. Not many winning plays have been called in Redskins huddles this year. In fact, some of the things they concoct are downright baffling.
And it's a fake, and it's a pass, and it's an interception by Otis Smith.
Oh, Richie Pettibone. Oh, he's going to get crucified for that.
Eagles coach Rich Kotite probably thought he had seen it all until he watched Redskin quarterback Rich Gannon escape an all-out blitz by linebacker Britt Hager.
Up the middle again, scrambles for his life to the near side, throws it upfield, got it complete to McGee, dives, touchdown, Washington Redskins!
2 Gannon scoring strikes gave the Redskins a 14-10 fourth quarter lead. But in the battle between 2 beleaguered teams desperate for a victory, the Eagles drove 75 yards in the game's final minutes, with a heads-up block by guard Brian Baldinger helping to produce the winning score.
Here we go, play action, into the end zone, touchdown, James Joseph!
James Joseph's touchdown with 46 seconds to play snapped the Eagles' 6-game losing streak. But Bubby Brister and the Birds will have a tough time making it 2 wins in a row this Monday night in Dallas. Ahead, former Chargers quarterback John Hadel in our Where Are They Now? And in our player diary, Boomer Esiason's Automotive Odyssey.
Later in the show, the Boomer talks about his problems getting to and from work every day. Well, those problems are nothing compared to Philadelphia's as they travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys this week. But some good news for Philadelphia. The Cowboys have lost their last 2.
Yeah, Lenny, but I wonder, are the Dallas Cowboys defenders or are they pretenders? This is a team that does not play well when it faces adversity. Without Troy Aikman, they got blown away by the Atlanta Falcons. With a hobbling Smith, they lose to Miami. And when their defense was called upon to do something good, it did not stand tall. Chris, this week they face a tough Eagle defense. And I'll tell you, this Eagle defense is not going to roll over for these complacent Cowboys.
Yeah, but I thought you made a great point about the Dallas Cowboys defense, because a year ago, they were the #1 defense in the National Football League, and that's how they got their Super Bowl ring. So far this year, they have been 15th. And I know they've got a couple of injuries up front. Ken Norton, Charles Haley have not been 100%. But I think the much bigger problem is that they missed Dave Wannstedt. You look at what Wannstedt is doing now with the Chicago Bears defense, their improvement there. I don't know how they're getting along without him.
It's not just the defense the folks in Dallas are concerned about, it's the offense as well. Michael Irvin a couple of weeks ago was being declared as the best wide receiver in the National Football League. No, not today. That belongs to Jerry Rice and his 13 touchdown passes. Michael has 2, none in the last 5 ball games, and he has been dropping passes with alarming frequency. They're playing the Eagles, though. Can the Eagles have any way of winning it?
Yeah, I don't think so, because in order to beat the Dallas Cowboys, you have to stop Emmitt Smith, and the Philadelphia Eagles defense, of the 9 biggest rushing days in the National Football League this season, the Eagles have given up 4 of them. Last time Emmitt played against Philadelphia, 237 yards rushing. I like the Dallas Cowboys.
Emmitt is hurting this time around with a leg injury, but if he can't go, they have an able replacement in Lincoln Coleman. An interesting story. He worked for Home Depot. They go around selling bolts and nuts. He played in the Arena Football League. Do you think he would like to get his hands on the football? Oh, yes, he will, and they will win, and they will redeem Leon Lett because he's taken the heat all week long.
So you like Dallas?
Dallas.
Well, I tell you, the Eagles cannot score, Lenny. Their whole offense is a guy who used to play in Dallas, Herschel Walker. He leads the team in rushing. He leads the team in receptions. And yes, he's even on special teams. But as special as he is, I think this is the week that Jimmy Johnson brings the Cowboys down to earth and they bury the Eagles' playoff hopes.
Well, maybe the Eagles in the future have something to have hopes about, and that is Randall Cunningham could be back for the final 3 games. Well, having your quarterback play for the entire season seems a luxury, but it was a luxury the Chargers enjoyed in the 60s when a durable and devastating passer guided their powerful offense. John Hadl is profiled by Kurt Gowdy in this week's Where Are They Now?
John Hadl, a former Jayhawk and 2-time All-American out of the University of Kansas, has always had big decisions to make. So in 1962, when the Lions made him their #1 draft choice to play in the NFL, and the Chargers drafted him in the 3rd round to play in the newly formed AFL, Hadl needed time to think.
San Diego wanted me to play quarterback, and the Lions wanted me to play running back. They were going to make a Paul Hornung player type out of me.
As it turns out, it wasn't that difficult a decision to make.
I wanted to be a quarterback if I made it in the NFL, and the opportunity to play in San Diego, a young franchise, it was absolutely the right decision, in my opinion, to this day.
With the Charger franchise barely 3 years old, John Hadl came to the league with a new and aggressive style of play. He was part of a group of players who brought the game into the 60s with a new excitement.
In the AFL, it was very competitive with the NFL as far as the players. The NFL was aloof. They were the elite. We were the lucky to be there guys type thing, you know. And as a whole, in the early stages, that's probably true.
But as they progressed, the Charger offense began to soar as Hadl, along with receiver Lance Allworth, became the AFL's most feared passing combination. Hadl performed with the Chargers for 11 seasons, where he quarterbacked them to 3 AFL championship games. In 1978, after stints with the Rams, Packers, and the Oilers, the 6-time Pro Bowler moved from the playing field to the sidelines at the ripe old age of 37.
I played almost 17 years, and I had a lot of playing time, and I just got tired of being physical. I really did, and having to be in shape. I always had a weight problem if I didn't watch it. I could balloon up and get too heavy, and I just really got tired of being physical.
Hadl began coaching and coached at both the collegiate and the professional level before returning to his hometown of Lawrence, Kansas. Today, this Jayhawker is the associate athletic director at his alma mater at the University of Kansas.
They offered me this job as director of the Williams Fund, which is our athletic academic scholarship fund. And we raise $3.1 million annually here for our athletes to take care of the scholarship costs.
Through loyal KU alumni, Hadl also raised $7.5 million to construct a brand new building which will house the football and basketball program. That's a major accomplishment. Happy to be back home, Hadl is content with the notion that he made some good decisions in life. And although he loves the fundraising he's doing, he might consider getting back into football if the right offer came through.
It would have to be a lot of money, and I'd have to be the head coach. It'd have to be my way.
Sounds like another well-thought-out decision.
John, Nick, and I all came into the AFL at the same time. The year was 1962. Hadel was an outstanding quarterback, and he certainly has not gotten the credit that he really deserves. Well, from one personable quarterback to another, Boomer Esiason tells of his travel woes in this week's Player Diary.
You know, it's great to play for the New York Jets. The only problem is that we got to drive 30 miles to get over to our stadium where we play, which is Giant Stadium. I'm going to take you on a ride with my UAV, my urban assault vehicle, on a ride of your life. It's 9 o'clock. Let's see what time we get there. The longest parking lot in America, the Long Island Expressway, which also has more bumps than a 3-hump camel. Never put your blinker on in New York because other drivers will take that as a challenge, and they're not going to let you get where you want to go anyway. Beat that horn, man. I'll tell you, the key is beeping the horn in New York. Well, we're stuck. What can I tell you? Looks like we're going to be here for a good half an hour. I think it's the delivery truck. Come on, guys. Park that truck somewhere. Man, look, the guy's smiling because he knows he's jamming up traffic. Unbelievable. Now we got to jump on the old New Jersey Turnpike. Oh, no! We're in the exact change lane. Oh, wait, we do have it. Hi, officer. What? How you doing? Yeah, I got to find my registration in here somewhere.
Where are you headed now?
Right over to the stadium.
You're a football player, right?
That's right, yeah.
You're a quarterback, right?
That's right, yeah.
All the abuse you took early in the season, you deserve a break.
Well, here we are. We made it in just under 2 hours. Urban assault vehicle intact. Giant Stadium, home of the New York Jets. Boy, I love this job, but I hate the commute.
You know, I've always heard that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And so if I were going to make this journey, this is the way that I would take it. But Boomer apparently didn't take any navigating courses at Maryland. Take a look at his route.
Well, Lenny, he's a scrambling quarterback, and this is what you end up with.
Visit all those relatives around here.
It must be something. All right, let's talk about scrambling. It's time for us to scramble because the pick segment is here.
Oh, yes.
Let's see how we did last week. Close once again for the season.
Look at that.
Very close.
Get used to that.
Very kind of
jumped
close.
this week for sure.
Nice going, Chris.
Thank you.
Now, earlier in this program, we picked several games. Now it's time to pick the rest of them. First, the ones that we agree on, sort of. Although Chris disagrees, the Bills will go 9-3 with a victory over the Raiders. Phoenix will beat the skidding Rams. Tampa Bay and their improving quarterback, Craig Erickson, will beat Washington. Pittsburgh, with or without Barry Foster, will defeat the Patriots. Come on, Chris, you disagree again, but the rest of us like the Browns to break their losing streak against the Saints. San Francisco, we got a surprise. They'll beat Cincinnati. Now for the rest of the games in more detail. Denver at San Diego. Let's start with Gary Myers.
Well, Lenny, last week for the first time, the Chargers really had a healthy Stan Humphries in Indianapolis. He threw for 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Chargers scored 31 points. The most points they've scored all year. Although the Chargers have had a hard time at home this year, I think they'll beat Denver.
Yeah, but you know something? The San Diego defense came alive. They shut out the coach. That's important. Anthony Miller having a terrific year. I also like San Diego.
The Chargers have only scored 4 touchdowns at home so far this season, so no real home field advantage. I like the Broncos and John Elway.
Now, even though Vance Johnson is out for the season, Humphries had one good game, but he's got to show me that he had more than that. I like Denver. Nick, tell us about this Green Bay-Chicago game.
Well, you know, Lenny, this is the first time in 30 years, second half of the season, that when these two teams have played together, they both have had a winning record. Well, I didn't think I would get that out.
I didn't know.
A lot for but they're playing at home. The defense of Chicago has been playing terrific. I like the Bears.
2 good defenses in this one. I believe the Packers have a little better offense. I like Green Bay, even though they're on the road.
Tell you what, Dave Wannstedt is just doing a great job in Chicago. The Bears have already won 1 more game than they won last season. They're coming off 3 straight victories on the road. I think the Packers will have a hard time scoring this week. I like Chicago.
Well, the Bears have won 3 in a row, but the Packers have won 6 out of their last 7, and I like their offense as well. Green Bay in that contest. All right, Kansas City at Seattle, Chris.
Well, we have a matchup of the 2 Notre Dame quarterbacks.
Oh, do we?
We have Rick Meyer, we have Joe Montana. Let me guess which one I like. I'll take Montana and the Chiefs.
Chiefs a totally different team when Montana's able to start. They're 5-1. And last week, for the first time all season, the Chiefs' offensive line did not give up a sack. I think they play a little harder when Joe's in the lineup. Kansas City wins this game.
You know, it's amazing what happens when a great quarterback plays in the offense. The defense rises to the occasion. Kansas City had a terrific game last week. I like the Chiefs.
Now, Joe Montana was rusty last week, and they won easily against the Bills. He is going to be much sharper this week. Kansas City is 4-0 versus AFC West teams. Kansas City will win that one. We got Indianapolis at the Jets.
Well, we've talked all season about how well Boomer is sized in his play, but one of the real keys to the Jets' offense this year is Johnny Johnson. Here's a player that really benefited from going to a new team. He leads the Jets in rushing. He leads them in receiving, has almost 1,000 yards combined offense at this point. The Jets keep it going. They beat Indianapolis.
You know something? There's something here that says that the Colts have not scored a touchdown in 2 ball games. Me. I'm saying that. But you know, the thing is, the Jets defense is playing wonderful. They will shut out the Colts, I believe, this week. I like the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets offense carried this team early in the season. Now the defense is taking over exactly what you'd like to have happen as you approach the playoffs. I like the Jets.
Let's talk about the turnover ratio. The Jets are +8, the Colts -10. I like the Jets. They don't get to the Boomer. Minnesota at Detroit.
Adversity again. Wayne Fonts. I'm telling you, this team has more injuries than all the rest of them put together. But somehow, some way, they will scrap together and they will beat Minnesota.
Without Barry Sanders, the pressure really on Rodney Peete. But don't forget, the Minnesota Vikings have one of the best pass defenses in all of football. I like Minnesota.
You know, the Vikings get Jim McMahon back this week, and I think that'll help them. But the Vikings have already lost more games than they lost all of last season. You know, it's going to be hard for Wayne Fonts to compensate for the loss of Barry Sanders, but I think they'll beat the Vikings.
I've said earlier in the program, without Barry Sanders, they're going to have a tough time making the playoffs. I like Minnesota in that game. We would like to congratulate our mentor, Marty Glickman. He's being inducted into the Sportscasters Hall of Fame, and Mr. Buoniconti, you and I really owe a lot to this guy.
Oh, man, you know, he founded HBO Sports, Lenny, and this program Inside the NFL. So to Marty, congratulations.
Yeah,
man.
Congratulations to Marty Glickman. All right, folks, that's our show for this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres each Thursday evening at 11 p.m. If you missed any part of it, you can catch it again Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. Those times are Eastern and Pacific. Thanks for joining us this week, and please join us again next week on HBO's Inside the NFL.
NFL Primetime coming right at you. Would it be buyers, keepers, losers, weepers in Miami? Chicago passes the buck against the Pack. Cleveland summons the Savior. Is it enough to march past the Saints? The Jets couldn't catch anything, and the Falcons couldn't hold on. The Bills, would it be this easy to beat the Raiders? The Broncos look for a rare win at the Murph. A DT-TD in Seattle. Will the Chiefs continue their winning ways? Get in the holiday spirit. Prime time coming at you next.